Module 3, Proportion Ratios, Rates, and Percents. This is Section 3.5, Length, U.S. and Metric Systems of Measurement. In the U.S. for measurement, we only have a few different types. There are inches, feet, yards, and miles. There are 12 inches in 1 foot, 3 feet in 1 yard. We can also say that there's 36 inches in 1 yard, and there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. When we want to convert from one measurement to another, we can set up conversion factors. We can either say 12 inches is in 1 foot, or we can say 1 foot is in 12 inches. The order that you write your proportion depends on what you're converting to. You're going to want what you're converting to be in the top part of your proportion. So if you're converting to feet, you want feet up in the numerator. For example, if I was converting 84 inches to feet, I would want feet to be up in my numerator. 84 inches is our single unit that we're talking about, and we're going to convert this to feet, and there's 1 foot and 12 inches. The inches will divide out, and when I multiply straight across, I'll get 84 over 12. Only feet will be left, inches divided out. 84 divided by 12 is 7. If I wanted to convert feet to yards, and I'm talking about 10 feet, I'll put my 1 underneath. I know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard, and if I want to go to yards, yards needs to be up top. Feet will divide out, and you'll multiply straight across, and you'll get 10 over 3 yards. We can make this into a mixed number where 3 would go into 10 3 times with 1 remainder. So I have 3 1/3 yards. Let's practice with some more. 72 inches to feet. If I want to go to feet, then feet needs to be up on the top, and the inches will be down in my denominator. Inches will divide out, and I'll multiply straight across to get 72 over 12, and then I just need to divide, and I'll get 6 feet. I'm going to skip over to C because I want 3 miles, and now I want to talk about that in feet. Well, if I'm going to feet, feet needs to be up top. There are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Miles will divide out. When you're done, what you're switching to should be the only measurement left. 3 times 5,280 is 15,840. And that is in feet. Pause the video and see if you can find B and D. Yards to feet. For B, if I want to go to feet, feet needs to be up top. And there are 3 feet in 1 yard. Yards divide out, and I'm left with 8 times 3, which is 24, and that's 24 feet. Finally, for D, I'm going to go inches to yards. There are, I'm a little out of space here, but there are 36 inches in 1 yard, and so I'll have 120 over 36, and after I'm done dividing, I'll know how many yards that is. 120 divided by 36 is 3.3. Repeating, I can say 3.3, or I can say 3 1/3. So now we have seen twice that sometimes when you change over, you get a little bit left over, and you have a little bit extra. And depending on how they ask for it to be written, they may write it as a mixed number, or they may convert this extra piece over to a smaller measurement. So for example, if I have 100 feet and I want to convert this to yards, I know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. Feet will divide out, and when I multiply straight across, I get 100 divided by 3. Well, 3 will go into 100 33 times. 3 into the 10, and then another 3 to get a 9 here. and I would have 1 remainder. So I would have 33 full yards, but I would have 1 little piece left over. The small piece is whatever the measurement that divided out is. And so I have 33 yards and 1 foot. Just like sometimes when you convert, you have leftover. When you're combining like terms, you may have some extra leftover. If I wanted to say 5 feet and 8 inches plus 6 feet and 7 inches, when I add the feet, I get 11 feet, and when I add the inches, I get 15 inches. But 15 inches is more than a foot, since there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So really what I have is 1 foot here and 3 more inches. And so I would need to change this to really be 12 feet and 3 inches. Sometimes that also happens when you're subtracting. You may have to borrow or convert, but in this case I have 24 minus 16, which is 8, and 8 minus 3, which is 5. And so it doesn't happen quite as much that you have extra that you need to change things when you're subtracting. When you're multiplying, it will look a little strange. I'll have 8 times the 1 foot, so I have 8 feet, and then I have 15 times the 8. Now you wouldn't do any kind of a carry here because these are different measurements. It really would be better to write it like this. And so that on the yards, I have 120 yards. But I know that there are 3 feet in a yard. So I have 2 full yards here, because that would be 6, and then I would have 2 left over, and so that would be 2 feet. And so this would be, instead of 120 yards, it would be 122 yards and 2 feet. It would be the same as saying, you wouldn't say $10 and 400 cents. We know 400 cents is $4, and so you would just say $14. Metric is a little bit more complicated when you first start looking at it. And then after you see a couple of different types, you'll see that they're all the same. In metric, kilo is the largest, and then it goes down to the smallest, which is milli. In blue, you have the prefixes, kilo, hecto, deca, and then there's a 1 meter here, and then deci, centi, and milli. Now notice that the extensions are in black. The prefixes are going to stay the same whether you're talking about length, which we are in this video, or if you're talking about capacity or mass or weight, like we will in the other videos. The only thing that will change is the extension. Just to give you a frame of reference, a millimeter is about the thickness of a large paper clip. So if you were to lay it flat, about how high off the table it would be, not very high. A centimeter is about a width of a paper clip. A meter is just a little bit longer than a yard. Most of the sticks that you see in classrooms are meter sticks. That's just a little bit shorter than that. Kilometer is about 2/3 of a mile, so a little bit shorter than a mile. When you want to convert, what we're going to do is we're going to use this shortened to something like this, where it's kilo, hecto, deca, and we put the A in there. And then I'm going to skip this for just a minute, and then I have deci with an I, centi, and milli. So there's I's over here and A's and O's over on the other side. We usually don't put stuff in here, and I usually say by, because the shortcut to remember this is King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. The by is going to either be 1 meter, like it is in this video. Later, it may be gram or liter. But in this video, we're only talking about length, so this is going to be a little m in here. If I want to take millimeters to meters, here's meters, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 steps to the left, which means I'll do 1, 2, 3 steps to the left up here, and I get 450 meters. There's 10 of all of the little ones in the next one. So there's 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. There's 10 centimeters in 1 decimeter. So for every move over, you have 10. If I have King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk, and I want to convert these, let's do A and B together, and then let's see if you can do D and E afterwards. So 60 millimeters, and I want to go to centimeters. So I want to go from here 1 spot left. So I need to take my decimal point, 1 spot left, and so that is 6 centimeters. If I have 500 meters and I want to go to kilometers, here's where my meters would be. That would be 1, 2, 3 spots. And so I'd have 1, 2, 3, and I would only have 0.5 of a kilometer. Try D and E. Pause the video and then check your answers after you're done. D. I have millimeters, and I want to go to meter again, so that's 1, 2, 3 spots to the left, so that would be 34 meters. Kilometers to meters is a little different than the other ones that we've done, because I'll say start at the K and go 1, 2, 3 to the right, and so now I'll have to jump over the 7, do 1, 2, 3, and actually add in some zeros so that I have 3,700 meters. When you're adding and subtracting units, you'll need to convert them first. So if I have 30 centimeters and 8.9 meters, I'll need to either change centimeters to meters or meters to centimeters. Remember, King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. I'm going to convert meters, which is this one right here, to centimeters. So I go 1, 2 spots to the right, which would be 1, 2. So that's 890 centimeters. And then I already had 30 centimeters, so I'm talking about 920 centimeters. Now, if I would have changed centimeters to meters, that would be 1, 2 to the left. So instead of that, I could have said, well, 30 with 2 left, we can be 0.3 meters plus 8.9, and that's 9.2. And you can see that you have the same thing when you're done, right? If I change meters, 1, 2 over, I would get the same answer in centimeters. And that is how you do some conversions with US and metric systems of length.